When my daughter Drew was born, someone asked me what I hoped she'd inherit from me. I said, my drive to grow and the belief that I can. That belief carried me through a difficult childhood. It pushed me to pay my way through college, build a six-figure sales career, and work through my trauma to become a loving husband, foster parent, and community builder. That belief is the best thing I have to give her. But this podcast isn't about me. It's for her. Instead of telling her my story, I'm sharing the stories of remarkable women. Women who've overcome, who've built, who've healed, who've thrived. Each episode is an interview with a woman who inspires me, and who I hope will inspire Drew someday too. Because one day she'll be a young woman carving out her own life, and she might not want to hear advice from her dad. But when that day comes, I hope she listens to these voices and remembers that she can become whoever she wants to be, and she can overcome anything. They say it takes a village, so I'm building one. A village of women who are redefining what it means to be ladylike. This is Ladylike, the Girl Dad podcast. Hey y'all, welcome back to Ladylike, the Girl Dad podcast. I'm excited to share this episode with you. Today I sat down with Rachel McCoy. Rachel is a foster mother, adoptive mother, mother to kids with special needs, business owner, and an incredible woman. Rachel makes inclusion practical. In this episode, you'll hear about how a Best Buddies program in high school became a calling for her life, and how saying yes to a child with medical and developmental needs was something that she just knew she had to do. One thing I really love from this episode is Inclusion 101 for parents, where Rachel sits down and talks about exact phrasing to model with your kids how to be around other kids with special needs. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and roll right into the Dear Drew, and then we'll jump into the episode. Dear Drew, today you met Rachel, a mom who makes courage look ordinary. She reminded me that love learns new languages, carries medical bags, and celebrates in Times Square. If you meet someone who moves, talks, or learns differently, start here. Smile, say hi, and ask one kind question. Say yes even when your stomach flips. She and Michael said yes to Johnny with oxygen lines and a long list of specialists. They said yes to Sam before they'd even met her. They learned as they went. Let people help you. Rachel learned to accept meals, rides, and hundreds of small favors. It didn't make her smaller. It made her circle wider. One day you'll need that circle too. Be comfortable in the uncomfortable. Ask the question at the park. Name the thing out loud. Invite the other kid into the game. When a choice feels bigger than you, remember what Rachel's mom told her. There are times God asks, will you trust me? Here's my promise. When you reach for me, I will close my laptop. We'll learn a few signs together. We'll build ramps, real ones and invisible ones, so more people can come in. We'll measure our days in belonging. I love you, Dad. Welcome back to Ladylike, where Drew and I learn from you. Today I'm joined by Rachel. She is a foster mother, adoptive mother, mother to kiddos with special needs, and someone that I would love for Drew to grow up into. I'm super excited to have her on. Rachel, tell the people what hats you wear and who you are and what you do in life at this point.
Okay. Hello. My name is Rachel McCoy. I am married to Michael McCoy. We have two kids. Their names are Johnny and Samantha, but we call Samantha Sam or Sammy. I feel like the question of like, what hats do you wear is honestly currently a harder question to answer because I recently transitioned out of working full time. So I currently work part-time for Lovely Flowers. You interviewed Cortland. He's my boss, the best boss ever.
Shout out Portland.
Yeah, and then my husband and I are or co-owners of Pink's Windows, Cedar Park, Georgetown. And then yeah, I think the majority, like when I would say the majority of my time goes to being a mother to two kids with disabilities.
Do you remember the first time we met? Because I do, actually. You might not, but I genuinely.
First time we met.
Yeah.
I feel like it was with Anna.
Yep.
It was at Katie's house.
It was at Katie's house.
Okay, so I'm actually known for having a really good memory of meetings.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember you talking about your story a little bit and being like, whoa, that's crazy. But I don't remember what it was for.
So Anna and I had just become certified, or maybe we hadn't even been certified yet.
I feel like y'all were talking about
It was the like intro, like the family full like lunch or dinner thing. Basically, we had been in the cohort, but then you and Michael came for like a dinner sometime and we got to all interact.
Okay, I kind of remember this.
But I remember this because I remember you talking and I was like, dang, she knows what she's talking about. Like you seem pretty like,
oh my gosh.
I know it sounds crazy now, but I remember being like, yo, like when you were advocating for other people's situation, it might have been a support group. You might have just showed up to a support group and not been foster parents yet. But like you were quick to jump in and be like, you guys, did you ask about this? Like, what's going on with this? Like, you were all about it. And I was like, dang, she's like a baller. I just genuinely remember. I'm not kidding. I remember this.
That's very sweet.
But tell me a little bit about, I know at the time you were talking about not working.
Yes.
So tell me about what you did and what you do.
Okay. So what I did is kind of two-part. So I went to school to become an occupational therapist. I applied to all the schools, got interviewed, was like leading up to it, got the flu, so missed all of my interviews that week, but also just felt this tug of like, I don't think this is actually what I want to do. I wanted to go into disability ministry. And so I just started kind of floating ideas of what that would look like. I had also just had come back from 7 months in Peru, which we can talk about that. But
which I never knew about.
Yeah.
¿Entiendes español? Cuando yo hablo, ¿entiendes?
Only a little bit. But I actually understand.
Not to put you on the spot.
No, I understand a lot more. I used to like I was really good because I was there for 7 months. By the time I left, I was my Spanish was way better. But so yeah, I was like just looking for jobs within the disability community. And so I started working for the ARC. It's a nonprofit. I did that in Houston. And then Michael and I got engaged. So I was looking for a job in Austin and he was looking for jobs in Houston, and whichever worked out. We just were like, okay, we're going to do this. I was very against moving to Austin. And so I ended up getting a job at a nonprofit called Brookwood in Georgetown, which is also just big, being a job supervisor. And so that's a nonprofit that employs adults with disabilities. And so I moved to Austin, did that for 3.5 years. And then in that time, Johnny came to us and I was missing so much work and just like nonprofit life, like I wasn't getting paid because I was missing so much work, and I was in charge of a team, and it just wasn't working anymore. So started looking into other careers. I am known for being very organized and like I love planning. I love just like I love planning. And so I just started looking into like coordinator type roles and got into recruiting coordinating. They were so understanding and so supportive of my situation. And then Sam came to us while I was still working there. And that was just kind of when it started getting really hard between the two of them of like, okay, how do I do all of this with doctor's appointments? And then Michael was still working a corporate job, so we split all of it. And so it'd be like, let's say that week we had 5, which this is a little bit of an exaggeration. Let's say we had 4 or 5 doctor's appointments, like maybe I would do 3 and he would do 2.
Wow.
But then when he switched to running a business and being the general manager of a business, it just was kind of like, hey, if we're going to do this, like you help start this business, you run it, then I probably should take a step back and work so that I can take on more for the kid. And I never felt like I had to do that. It was genuinely like we were both really excited for opportunity. We felt really blessed by Mason and Beth of like asking us to be a part of that, starting the Pinks franchise. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Okay. So our business partners are
Wow.
Mason and Beth Taylor. And so through that, I decided, okay, I need to maybe transition to a part-time job, and texted Cortland one day. I've always jokingly been like, one day when you need an assistant, let me know. And she had someone working for her, but she was like, actually, I'm ready to take on someone for more hours. And so it worked out perfectly. And so I left my job and I didn't work for a few months, and then I started working with Cortland. And then I help a little bit with Pinks, but I'm still figuring out my role with that.
You don't wash the windows?
No. I tried one time and I was like, I'm not built
on
for
the
this.
ladder. Like,
I'm not coordinated enough. It's actually so hard because you have to like turn the squeegee
Yeah.
certain ways, and I just wasn't. It
Yeah.
wasn't my gifting.
It's an art.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never done it, but I've watched
Yeah.
a lot of videos of people doing it.
Yes. Yeah.
And I feel like Pink's employs half of our friends almost. Like,
Yes.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. It's kind of crazy, just like how two people started this business, and it's allowed so many other people to have
Yeah.
businesses and jobs, and that's just really cool. I think that's amazing that what they started led to that.
I just made a big step in my life and hired 2 of my friends, which I'm
Really?
terrified of. Yeah.
For your job,
For my
or I'll
recruitment.
say for this.
Yeah, for the podcast. They're right there.
Wow, you're really killing
Their
it.
producers are
Just
behind the
jumped to
camera.
2 employees.
No. The podcast is not there yet, but my actual job.
Yeah.
I work for a company called Monroe and Weisbrod. It's a doctor recruitment company. And I hired, Colin. What's his last name?
Downey?
Yeah.
Okay, I knew that.
Yeah. So you know my friends better than I do.
I actually, we
He's
know
a friend
each
of a
other.
friend.
Yeah.
Oh, really? How do you know him?
Just a friend of
Okay. It's kind of crazy. I always feel like hiring friends is a little bit risky because
For
if
sure.
they don't do well, then it's hard for the relationship, especially
Yeah.
if they're close. But I guess like I've seen you and Cortland do weddings together, and I think you work perfectly. She needs more organization.
Yeah,
Lord
yeah. I
knows.
feel like that was my biggest hesitation. And me and Carlin we had some like conversations about it. Of like, I was like, what if it goes so bad and blah blah blah. And she's just the most chill, just like it's gonna be okay type personality. And she was like, our friendship comes first. It's gonna be okay. And like,
Yeah.
okay, great. And I think that's all I needed was just like we're both prioritizing our friendship first. And I actually think that being a friend who can employ friends is the biggest blessing that you can give a friend,
It's fun.
because Michael and I both have it.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a risk to it, but we feel so blessed by it. And I think that excites me, of like maybe one day we could do that, or just giving people opportunity.
It's like LeBron James. I know you know a lot about him, but
Yeah, no, I don't.
LeBron talks about raising up his whole community. Like he hired his best friend to be his agent, and now his
Okay.
agent's like his best
Yeah.
friend's like one of the best agents in
I
the
feel like that's like Taylor Swift too.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so I am curious about the short period of time that you weren't working at all. Anna's not working right now,
Mhm.
and she's finding it really hard.
It's really hard.
Okay, I was gonna ask like what your experience was.
It was just really hard. It's hard to know like your identity. Like, who am I without like a work? Even like you're like, I'm gonna ask you the question, what do you do? It like immediately stirs this like trigger point of like, what do I do? Who am I? Like, and being a mom is enough.
Mhm.
Like, I have so much respect for moms. Just like you don't have to do anything else. Like, but I do think there's just this like dynamic in your mind of like I have to like produce something.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I think even just like the 2 months, it was really hard. I also think for me mentally it was too much, because I almost hyper focused on my kids, and they have so many needs that it can be 2 full-time jobs.
Mhm.
And I was like finding myself being like, now I'm like so fixated on my children that I am like kind of spiraling.
Yeah.
And that was my experience. Like other people are like can figure that out better, but I think just even for me, part-time work was such a blessing of like, okay, for depending on the week, 7 hours this week, I'm thinking about something else, and I'm like using my giftings in different ways. And then, some weeks I'm working 10 hours or 20 hours, and I get to use my giftings in different ways, but it allows my mind to kind of go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that's what Anna's feeling right now. I think
yeah.
she's genuinely like Anna. It's just like if you spend all your time with your kids and then worry about them sleeping through the night, and it's like a 24/7.
Yeah, no, and there felt like there was no break.
Yeah.
It's so funny because I think I view work a little bit as like a break.
Yeah.
Of like just being able to feel kind of like I was saying, like my giftings are being used. I think also it just depends. Like some women like grow up and they're like, I want to be a mom, I just never was like that. Like I never was like the babysitter type. I think people think that, but
Yeah.
I'm about me, but I've never really been a kid person like
Yeah.
at all. And so I think that was just a hard adjustment for me. Like I had big dreams of like, I'm going to do this and that and this. And I think taking a step back and being like, okay, right now my life is going to look like sacrifice of maybe giving up these certain things that I imagined for my life for my kids. And it's so worth it. And I'm so thankful, but it's still hard.
I am curious about like who you were when you were younger. When did you first decide, like, okay, I love people with special needs? Like, I don't know.
Okay.
What was that?
I love this question.
Yeah.
One of your questions was like, what is something you wish people asked more about you? And I said, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But then this morning I thought of two things. And one of them is that, like, I love when people ask, like, where did this desire come from? Because I love sharing it because it normalizes, like, why I adopted kids with disabilities, because I think some people can be like, I think all of me and my friends who have kids with disabilities, or even just foster parents, you get told, oh, you have a special heart. It's like, no, I literally do not, So it started back in high school. One of my best friends, Kayla, was super involved in Best Buddies, and she just encouraged me to try it out. And truly, the thing that pushed me to do it was a conviction of like, I feel uncomfortable. Like, I genuinely don't know how to do that. And I feel uncomfortable. And I don't like that I feel uncomfortable. So, yeah, I joined Best Buddies and it literally changed my life. And it's been the coolest thing because if you look at my friend group from high school, we almost all did Best Buddies and almost all of us now do something with people with disabilities.
Really?
Yeah, it was that, like, it was just that transformative for all of us. And so, I like jokingly say this, but I'm like my butterfly effect. Like the TikTok trend where it's like the butterfly effect.
That's right.
Mine is like my friend Kayla and Best Buddies of like she started that passion for me, and then she invited me to a camp for the summer, and then so we went and it was adult week. Okay. So it was like 22 and up.
Wow.
Campers with disabilities. I'm 16.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. And I get paired with this woman who at the time was 22. I'm 16 and she has Down syndrome and her name is Mandy. And she just rocked my world. Like, I had never felt more accepted in my whole entire life. I felt so loved. When you're 16 years old, you're just trying to like climb the the status of like, who am I? Am I cool?
Yeah.
Like, you're just in your head a lot. Yeah. And I think I also just really struggled a lot with like being this like perfect person. And I just saw this amazing, beautiful woman who the world would maybe look at her and not see perfection. And it was like the most perfect person to me and to God, like I just felt like I experienced just a raw, real like relationship that I hadn't, she just loved me. Like literally would wake up and be like, I love you, Rachel. You're my buddy. I'm your buddy. We're best friends. Anyways, I just left and was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I love it. And I also realized I loved adults with disabilities. And then in college, I got really involved in Young Life Capernaum. So I did Young Life, we did ministry along high school students with disabilities. And we called them our friends because that's what they were. And we lived life. We did Bible studies together. I just really felt like my faith flourished because of it. And then again, I worked at camp every summer. Ultimately, that led to me meeting Michael. That's how we met at camp.
No way.
I met Cortland at camp and Will. And fun fact is that when I got to College Station, because I went to A&M to do Young Life Capernaum, Andy, my friend I met when I was 16, lived in College Station. So then she became my Young Life girl.
No.
Because at that time, Young Life Capernaum was up to 30. Yeah. And so it was such a cool full circle of like, I met her when I was 16. She changed my life. Yeah. She really paved the path of like, this is what I want to do. This is like the world I want to be in. And then in college, we lived life together. She would spend the night with me, my roommates. She would come to Houston and spend the night with my family. She still like, I call her and she'll say like, talk about my parents, Laura and Chris.
That's crazy.
She's amazing. And then she's also why I got like the Lucky Few tattoo, which is for people with Down syndrome. And so I actually got that before we got Sam, and I'll get to that. I guess I haven't even said that Sam has Down syndrome. But so yeah, I would say that it started in high school. And then when I finished college, I knew I wanted to do a gap year, graduated, and I went to Peru for 7 months.
Crazy.
And worked in an orphanage for kids with disabilities.
No way.
And it was a government-run orphanage. Like, it wasn't
in Peru.
Like, guys, it was not glamorous at all. And I was the only like nobody spoke English, and it was just me and one friend who went, and we like lived with a family that was running a ministry there. but the ministry was going into the orphanage. It wasn't like the orphanage had like support. And so then I would go there every day and I would help the teachers. And then when the school was out, I went every day and like took kids out to play. And there was about 2 months where I was there alone with the family and I would do it by myself. That was crazy. I would never do that now.
No.
I was braver then. Yeah. Then worked at the ARC, worked at Big, which led to adopting. I feel like there's a part of the story I'm forgetting, maybe how I got into foster care with that, but
we could definitely, I was going to say, I could ask about that. I was also going to say, my sister did Best Buddies and she is still very close with her buddy.
Yeah, I am too. Yeah. I mean, I don't see him all the time, but I'll randomly reach out but yeah, it's an incredible program. They now apparently are doing it for like elementary school, which I think would be extremely beneficial.
Yeah, I think she did start in elementary actually.
Okay, I didn't have that. It started in high school, but I've heard of elementaries having it.
Yeah, she did it all the way through. She still keeps, and she also is, I think it's ABA therapist now. So like she went to, I think if you do it, you're stuck. You can't get out.
You fall in love. Like you literally can't get out.
So foster care.
Yes.
I know that you are a great advocate. I've seen you do it for other people and I've seen you advocate for your kiddos. How'd you get into it? Why did you get into it?
Yeah.
What started it?
Before I moved to Austin, I watched this movie called Instant Family.
Yes.
It's so cheesy, but it's so good.
No, it's great.
Just to clarify, that movie is way more about like adopting than foster care. So I'm gonna be completely honest. I knew nothing about foster care. Totally naive to the world prior to this movie.
Yeah.
Watched the movie and was just like, wait, what is happening? How did I not know about this? There's a stat at the end of the movie that's like, there are 400,000 children in foster care in the US and 100,000 of them are just waiting to be adopted. And then I think I like dug into it and it was like the majority of those kids are teens, sibling sets, and children with disability. And I just was, I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to do this. And so it kind of actually started before that of like, when Michael and I were dating, I told him like, hey, I want you to know that I see myself adopting or being a mother to children with disabilities. And I wasn't sure if he'd be like on board, but again, we met at a camp for kids and adults with disabilities. And so when I told him that, he was just like, sounds good. I love it. Like, this is just like, this is great.
That's awesome.
And so when I watched the movie, I called him. I was like, okay, actually, like maybe I want to look into this whole fostering thing, and then just kind of put a pin in it. And when we moved to Austin, I joined a community group through the well, and I walk in and I see this woman holding a baby with Down syndrome, and it was like, who is this baby? Who is this woman? And it's Katie Rose, who probably gets brought up in every podcast.
She probably almost does.
Yeah, but I was like, how are you with this baby with Down syndrome? Like, tell me about it. And she was fostering him at the time. He was like 7 months old. She just got him.
That's great.
And I was just like, I also just love people with Down syndrome. So I was like, can I hold him? You know, just all up in her space. I like to ask questions. So I just started kind of interrogating her. And so then through that, I was like, oh, I had never seen. So I was like, okay, there's someone in this circle who is fostering a child with disabilities. And I've never seen that, but I've always been interested. So I just kind of follow along with her story. We started doing respite for Malachi every now and then. And then one day I asked her if we could come over for dinner because I had a lot of questions. And I was like, listen, it's funny now, but I was like, listen, Michael and I don't make a lot of money. Like, how do we do this? Like, I want to do it, but like, we're not rich. And she was like, you know, they pay you. Right? I was like, no, what? I was like, what if the baby has to go to the hospital? She's like, they have Medicaid.
Yeah.
I just had no idea.
Yeah.
Like, I just didn't know that like you got these supports to take care of these children with medical needs. And so then we were like, well, let's do it then. Like, we were just waiting for this like certain stage of life. I thought it had to be like, okay, you're grown and you have money and you have a big house. Like we're renting a 2-bedroom teeny tiny house with not even central air. Like it was like, yeah, we don't have a dishwasher still.
Wow.
No. Fun fact. We really genuinely got into foster care because we were like, we want to help families like reunite. Like we want to be a part of that, especially kids with disabilities. Like Michael and I were like, we want to foster kids with disabilities, help their parents, take care of them. And we got a call from Katie being like, hey, there's this little boy, he's in the hospital. He just had open heart surgery. He's been like coding. We're not sure how he's doing. He's going to come live with me for a little bit. He originally was with our friend Rebecca, but he moved up status of care.
Got it.
To like primary medical needs, and had a lot of needs. And so Katie had done it. So she's like, I'm going to take him on. And then I was thinking maybe y'all could take him whenever you're like actually licensed. Very similar to your story.
Yeah, she did the same thing to us.
Okay, so yeah, Katie was like, what if he comes and lives with you when y'all are licensed? And we're like, okay. And she's like, like a little bit of like, just keep in mind that there's a huge chance this baby will need to be adopted.
Yeah.
And I think that it's so crazy because I always imagined adopting kids with disabilities, but it took me a long time to get there because I was so pumped to foster.
Yeah.
And I had gone through so much training, and I was like, it was like I mentally wired my brain to be like, the goal is reunification. The goal is reunification. And so when she told me, I was like, oh, okay, are we like ready to be like permanent parents? I don't know. Like Michael's 24, I'm 26. Like, are we ready for that? We didn't imagine it this fast. And I remember we were just praying about it. And Michael was like, Rachel, we've been saying we want to help kids in need. There's this little boy who needs us. And I'm like, you're right. So we said yes. And he moved in. I feel like looking back, there was such a naiveness to me that I am so thankful I had, because I think if right now a paper showed up with all of what Johnny had going on, I don't know if I would be able to say yes, because it was a lot. But I look back at those days and I felt so like this is what I was made to do. Like he has a G tube. He still has a G tube, but he had an NG tube. So it was like going through his nose, and I would have to like put it in because he'd pull it out. And I had no fear. I was just like, oh yeah. And like now if that happened, I probably would have fear. So it's just so funny how like the Lord almost like gave me this like naiveness that helped me care for him, and an excitement and an energy that I needed. He had oxygen that we had to carry everywhere. He slept with oxygen. He had like this like huge scar from his heart surgery. He was getting surgeries like within like 2 months. I had never even been in a hospital prior to Johnny.
You're kidding.
I just this world, like I don't get sick. Like I just was like, oh, okay, like we have to go to the doctor. Like I didn't understand the world. And it was just I got a piece of paper and it was like, here are his 9 doctors. And like now he has even more. But at the time I was like, oh, what? Like, how do you keep up with all of this? But I just felt like this was what I was made to do. And so
and you learned sign too, right?
Johnny is hard of hearing. He mainly communicates with sign language, and then he is verbal, but it's really hard to understand. And it's really hard to figure out what he's saying.
Definitely.
And it's kind of comes off like a babbling. And so he uses his sign as his main mode of communication. He also uses an AAC device, which is augmented alternative communication.
Whoa.
And both of my kids do that.
The keyboard thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I guess I never said this, but Johnny has a rare genetic condition, which is a partial deletion of the 13th chromosome. Okay. And then my daughter Sam has Down syndrome. And so they both mainly communicate with sign language, gestures, a lot of like showing me. They are both trying to be verbal. We're working on it a lot. They are in speech therapy, all the things.
Sam can speak sign too. I've seen her do signs before too.
Yeah.
Is it
so Johnny is hard of hearing. So he is a part of like the deaf community. So this is the thing. I don't want to speak too much about the deaf community because to be honest,
I hear it's exclusive of,
it is the most amazing community I've ever witnessed. And I have so much respect for it. I have learned so much, but I'm still learning. I just am like, I'm learning so much. So I don't want to speak too much on it, but the biggest thing is like American Sign Language is a separate language.
Yeah.
Most people know that, but a lot of people think it's as if the words fall exactly as an English order, but it's a completely different language.
Yeah.
And so I do not know ASL. I know a lot of sign or sign language. Like it's very different. It's called like signing exact English. It's where you speak English and you're kind of signing to that.
Okay.
And so we do a lot of like sign support for Johnny and Sam.
Do you have a name, a sign name?
So yes, someone who is deaf has to give you the sign name. And so when I worked at Big, there was a woman who was like an attendant with like a caregiver to one of the citizens, and she's deaf. And so she gave it to me, and it was like an R walking really fast.
Walking really fast?
She would make jokes about I walk so fast. But I don't
That's funny.
introduce myself.
No.
Like
I would
that
never.
because I don't feel like I don't know. I usually just
agree.
sign my name. But Johnny has a silent name, and it's like this. So it's like 2 because he has 2 ends, and they said it's by his heart because he has the most like big heart and he's so joyful. Is what they told me, and I kind of cried a little bit.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. So
I was given a name too, but I don't remember what it means. It's an A, and it's 2 motions up on the chest.
I don't know because this is sorry.
No, it's not. It's.
I don't know.
I don't remember either.
Usually
Probably means
a letter
jerk.
of your name. It's usually a letter of your name and then something to do with your personality.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
interesting.
Yeah. So he came to us, and then exactly 1 year after Johnny came to us, we were in the thick of it. I literally was like not well, to be honest. I look back, I'm like, whoa. It was a lot. And I just finally felt like, okay, I am starting to breathe a little bit. And then we got an email about, well, actually Katie texting me being like, okay, so I got an email about a little girl with Down syndrome needing an adoptive home.
Wow.
And
they straight up went to adoption.
So Sam was called Legally Free. So it's her parental rights were already terminated. She had been in a foster home for a year. And they decided they didn't want to move forward with adoption. And so then they did kind of like an email push looking for an adoptive home. Again, my goal in fostering was never to adopt. Like, I think I knew down the road, but sometimes you just think, oh, like maybe like 5 kids, then we'll adopt. So I was like, okay. So she texted me, I jokingly, it was a joke, sent it to Michael, like a screenshot being like,
he's like, great.
And he calls me and he's like, we need to say yes. And I was like, are you crazy? Like, I was so like, that is wild, Michael. And I called my mom, who we can totally talk about my mom. And I just was like, so like, do you think I would be crazy if we like said yes to this or just looked into it? Like, you're not also guaranteed it because basically you submit your home study, then they narrow it down to usually 3 homes, then they present it to a panel, and then the panel picks one, and it's like this whole process. And I was like, they could look at our picture and be like, they're gonna have 2 kids the same age with disabilities. That's crazy. Or they could be like, their son has a G-tube because Sam has a G-tube. They're experienced. They're already plugged into therapies and see it as like a good thing. So I called my mom and I'm like, okay, so what do you think? And my mom is the most blunt, just will tell you how it is person. And she just very calmly said, Rachel, there are times in your life that God is going to say, will you trust me?
Wow.
And I think this is one of them.
She was on board.
Like from
like
very quickly.
That's amazing.
And I was like, well, what do I do? How like do I quit my job? Like, how am I going to take care of 2 kids with disabilities? She's like, the Lord's going to provide. Like, I know it. He will. And I just really trust my mom's judgment and really like I just was like, okay, I think you're right. And so Michael and I, we prayed for like 3 days, not like nonstop. We even like fasted for a day. Like that's not normally our vibe. Like we were just like, let's take
fasters.
Probably the last time I did it too.
One and only time.
It's like, let's take this really seriously because it affects Johnny. It affects like a lot. And I always jokingly say, but like, I kind of felt like I've had 2 arranged marriages within my children. I said yes to Johnny. I had babysat for him like maybe 1 time. So I kind of knew of him. But Sam, it's like literally lived in Houston.
That's crazy.
Like I said yes. And we said yes, gave them our home study. We get a call like the next day and they're like, you were picked. Congrats, you get a little girl. I was like, arranged marriage. Here we go. Like, I just was like, okay, I have a daughter. I'm getting a daughter, which again, even in this, I just want to be clear, like you're not guaranteed, like things can change because it's foster care, but it is different because her parental rights were already terminated. They were looking for an adoptive home, but then you have to foster them for 6 months.
Okay.
So that's how it goes. So she moved in. It was crazy. So she lived with us for 6 months. And then we were like, hey, we want to adopt her. I think it's kind of just to make sure it's a good fit. So that there's no disrupted adoptions and all those things.
How was Johnny? Was Johnny like, this is cool? Was Johnny like that?
Yeah. So I actually think this is also something I love to talk about because one of my favorite things in my life right now and has always been is Johnny and Sam's relationship because they love each other.
They do. Yeah.
I could cry just thinking about it. Like Johnny has like the best laugh in the whole entire world. Like which I have so many videos because I'm like, you better laugh like this forever. So Johnny had been with us for like a little bit over a year, and then Sam came to us at 20 months. So that's also something I could totally talk about. Just like we were constantly doing G-tube feeds, medicine, just it was a lot. And like if I had to go anywhere, I was like carrying 2 kids. And I would say like that year of motherhood is like a whole nother topic in itself because it was the hardest year of my life. Like it was so hard. But their relationship has always been just so pure and sweet. And I mean, they're just typical siblings. But the thing that I think about often is how they both came from very broken stories, but ended up with each other. And I just think that's so crazy to think about. But it feels so like this purposeful that they are each other's siblings and that they get to walk this life together.
That's so sweet. I've seen videos of them
They're so
like being
sweet.
excited or cuddling or like whatever before bed. I've seen,
Yeah,
I don't know
they
who's,
love each other.
probably Callie, you know, and I heard that recently John did something for school as like his favorite people or his favorite things.
Yes.
And Callie made it on there. She was showing it off at something I was at. I was like,
It
this
was
is
the
awesome.
cutest thing. Yeah. So Callie is one of our dearest friends ever. She's also our neighbor. And Johnny, we always joke, he has like a huge crush on Callie. Like it's a joke, obviously, guys.
Yeah.
But he adores Callie.
He does love her,
and we made like a little like favorite things, and he asked for Callie to be on it.
Oh,
And it was like airplanes, bus, ice cream, Callie. Like
that's incredible.
oh, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Santa, like
Right.
his favorite
Or
things.
Yeah.
And Callie.
And Callie.
That
Wow.
was really sweet.
How does Callie communicate with him? I mean,
So she's learning signs.
Is she really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the thing about Johnny too is like once you know him and you figure him out, like you can figure out a lot of what he's communicating. And if you know basic signs, you can usually figure it out. He's also so creative and will like act things out. Like he will act it out. Like if you're like, Johnny,
he really wants to communicate.
yeah. So like he tells a story about Batman visiting him in the hospital and he'll sign Batman. And I'm like, oh, you want to tell him about Batman? And then like what happened when Batman came to the hospital room? And then he screams. I'm like, oh, did Batman scare you? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like this whole, like we literally do it at least once a day.
Wow.
Like telling someone about this Batman story. And so he's just very creative on how he communicates things.
That's awesome. You said earlier about the 13th chromosome partial deletion. And last week I learned about, or 2 weeks ago, I learned about with Ashley and Lily has a partial deletion of a chromosome. I don't remember which one. What chromosome is the 13th? Is that the same one with Down syndrome? Forgive me for not knowing.
No,
I
it's
genuinely
totally
have no idea.
It's totally okay. Yeah.
I'm not a
like questions
chemist.
like this. No, so Down syndrome is the 21st chromosome
21st.
and there's an extra. So they have 3.
Okay.
So that's why like the tattoos, like the 3 arrows, because it's for the
extra
21st chromosome.
I've heard homie with the extra chromie. Is that offensive?
No, I don't.
Okay, good.
That's the thing about all of those things. It just depends on the person. That's the biggest thing I've learned in this world. I'm like, it just depends.
That's true.
It's so personal to certain people, but so Down syndrome is that. There's also 3 types of Down syndrome.
I
didn't know that. So Sam has trisomy 21, which is the 3 chromosomes. There's like translocation, which is like some of your, or no, mosaic is like some of them have the 3 chromosomes. Translocation is like the 3rd chromosome ends up on different. Someone fact check me, but they're all different and it can affect people differently. And like one of them is like more genetic, but trisomy 21 is just random. And so that's Sam's. And then Johnny, it's basically like you have 13 chromosomes. One of them, like basically the end of it's missing is the best way to describe it. It's like Q33.3 through 34. It's like an exact part that's missing.
What's his condition called?
There's no name.
No name.
So the way a condition or syndrome gets a name is somebody studies it. So someone with the last name Williams studied syndrome. And someone with the last name Downs studied. I mean, I don't know if that's how all of them go, but I know for those 2, it's usually someone has to study it and it gets like a name.
So Johnny's a really rare case then.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm in like a Facebook group of chromosome 13 conditions. And within that, I've met 2 people with the exact deletion and they live like, one lives in Germany, one lives somewhere else, and we'll like Facebook message.
That's crazy.
And they're all totally different than Johnny.
Did you know that this is a weird fun fact? And shout out to you people. This podcast has a massive amount of German listeners.
Really? Okay. Maybe the 13th chromosome person's listening.
Maybe you're listening. No, but it's actually shocking. Every episode I put out there, I look at it and it's like 25% of listeners are from Germany. Like I had an episode with Ashley, 103 people from Germany.
My maiden name's German.
Mine is too. Well,
maiden?
what's your maiden name?
It's Lynch, but it's
Love.
Lentzsch.
Whoa. When we were talking about, when I asked you, hey, what got you into wanting to help people with special needs? You said, this is one of my favorite things that I wish people more ask me more about.
Mhm.
And you said there's another thing. What's the other thing that you wish more people asked you about? Do you remember?
I was like, I love when parents
Mhm.
ask me how they can help their children understand disability.
That's
I
a
really appreciate that
Yeah.
especially when maybe a new friend cause it's really hard for me to make new mom friends if it's like, they're not like that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, how can I help accommodate, or how can I
Yeah.
help make sure that my kids understand truly our lives, the kingdom of God, everything is better when you know people with disabilities, because it's a more whole picture of what it should be. Like, we all are needed. And I think that when kids are not exposed to that, it becomes this like, wait, why do they look so different? Rather than just their whole life, they're exposed to it, they've seen it, they know that there's people who have differences. That is okay, and that's normal to have differences. I think that there's so many good books out there for kids about differences. I think just talking about how being different is okay. I think even talking about it. So a great example is, just because I have kids with disabilities does not mean I'm also not put into like situations where it's like, oh, okay, like this is new to me, because I'm actually in a lot of settings that there's kids with a majority of different diagnoses. And so, for example, there was this boy in a wheelchair, and Johnny kept going up and trying to push his wheelchair. I could have just said, Johnny, don't do that. Don't touch his, like, and pulled him away.
Yeah.
But instead, I said, Johnny, we need to say hi to him. Johnny say hi. He waved. I was like, this is his wheelchair. He needs this. This is how he gets around. Like, just how you need your feet. Like, he needs his wheelchair. So we don't touch his wheelchair. Like, explaining it in front of the kid. Like, not feeling like, oh my gosh, I can't talk about this. Or just feeling okay to like include them in the conversation, and maybe even be like asking questions about it. And I think that's the best thing you can do. Like, even with Sam, I get asked all the time, especially from other kids, like, is she a baby? Like, all the time. It's actually kind of funny.
Yeah. I mean, she's really tiny. Why is she so little? I mean, no offense.
That's no.
When you said Johnny and Sam were the same age, I was like, no.
Sam's older.
Whoa,
Sam's
that's crazy.
So she's so tiny. She's literally the cutest person ever.
Yeah. Like a baby doll.
No, she's so cute. And so, for example, she's in pre-K 4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's in a pre-K 4 class. She's probably half the other kid's size. And one of her classmates came up to us after school and said, can I ask you a question? And it was to Michael, and he told me later. And he said, how old is Sam? And he said, Sam is 4. And the boy was just like, wait, I'm 4. He was like, yeah, you're the same age. Sam's just small. And like, then later, the same boy asked me, and I was like, yeah, Sam is small. She has Down syndrome.
Wow.
And sometimes Down syndrome can make people be a little shorter and smaller in size.
Got it. Thank you for letting me know.
No, and I just told him that. I was like, there's no reason you shouldn't know she has Down syndrome. You know, and I even was like, you know, like, she doesn't talk right now, but that doesn't mean she doesn't understand. She uses her hands to talk, and she loves being your friend. And I was like, Sam, where's your friend? She like pointed to him. Like, just creating conversation between your child and the other child is so important. And that's something I feel really passionate about. And even like, I've had friends be like, wait, so like, how do you want me to talk about like the Down syndrome walk to my kids? I'm like, tell them you're going to a Down syndrome walk for your friend who has Down syndrome. There's nothing to be like, I think when we create like this taboo or oh, like, what should I say, this or that, then it becomes weird. It's like, no, we talk about this. It's okay. They're amazing because they have Down syndrome. And like, there's no shame in that. And so
that's incredible. You know, one of the most freeing things I think that I've learned on this episode, this minute of talking with you and listening to you, is like, it's very easy for us who aren't exposed to the world of special needs kids to be like, oh my gosh, they're a superhero. Like, when I'm looking at you, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's a superhero, and Michael's a superhero. If I ask this question that I'm clearly not educated about, like chromosomes or homie with the extra chromie, or why is Sam so small, that I'm going to look like the idiot or the jerk for being so uninformed on something that's like so much of your life. The other part of that is I feel like it's been really cool and beautiful to see you be like, I'm still learning about the
Yeah.
the American Sign Language community. I'm still learning about the like when you're mentioning the chromosome thing, you're like, I really don't know. Somebody correct me. Like you are totally in this world and love someone who is in that world
Yeah.
completely, love two people in that world completely. And like you're still learning. We're all still learning.
Yeah.
And that's so freeing to me
Yeah.
because I personally I'm just like, I'm scared of being wrong. I'm scared of being insensitive.
Yeah. No, this made me think of one of my favorite books. And I haven't read it in a long time. It could be not that good. You know? It could be totally not up to date in what it talks about, but it's called Missing Stars, Fallen Sparrows.
Okay.
And it's written by the man who started Young Life Capernaum.
Cool.
And I feel like one of the things he says over and over and over again, and a huge thing about Young Life Capernaum, and I might have even said this, it's being comfortable in the uncomfortable. And that just helps me.
Yeah.
Even this
Yeah.
is not my thing. This
It's
is not my cup
light.
of tea. Yeah, just like being comfortable, being uncomfortable. Like it's okay. And even like those conversations with kids, it's more just being like, you know, I'm gonna be uncomfortable. And that's what matters most is I'm trying
Yeah.
and I'm gonna push through like maybe my own like pride of being like, I actually don't know.
Yeah.
And I actually might mess up and I might hurt someone's feelings, but I'm gonna try and I'm gonna ask for forgiveness if I mess up. And I feel like I've had so many amazing friends just ask me questions. And I think that's the best thing you can do.
I have a hard question
Mhm.
because when I talked to Katie about this, you know, we talked about Malachi getting older,
Mhm.
getting bigger, and at some point we talked about um, what that looks like in the future. And maybe you don't want to think about the future, or maybe you
Yeah.
don't even think about the future, but knowing that you have two kids with disabilities, and
Yeah.
I don't even know if you guys are planning on getting four more, but it seems like maybe at this rate. But, like, how do you reconcile with the long-term care of your
Yeah.
kiddos and what that means for your life? Do you even have to at this point?
Yeah. I think that there's certain things that I've had to think about that maybe my other friends don't. Like we got our will, which maybe everyone does that, but I feel like a lot of my friends haven't done that yet.
We did it when Drew was born because it's like if I die,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Like, but we like set up a special needs trust for them. Like we got our all of that, like the things that's like I felt like we really had to get them in place for if something were to happen. I think there's one thing that gives me a lot of peace is I think about my friend Mandy. Like, I know for a fact, and she has amazing family support, but it's like, I know that there's people like me who love and adore her who would step in.
Yeah.
And so it gives me hope of like, there are going to be people who will love and adore Johnny and Sam and would step in. And a huge part of that is like, and we can talk more about my family, but I have 3 sisters and a brother. So there's 5. I'm the middle child of 5. And they're all starting to have kids, and their kids adore my kids.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I bet.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I know for a fact that 1, my siblings would help if something happened to me and Michael, but 2, like I really pray and hope and that their cousins would really help. And I don't, or even like our group right now, who knows? Does it scare me? For sure. Like
Yeah.
it is a very hard reality of even just like people joking, like, hey, we got 18 years with them, and then they grow up and they're gonna get married. And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what my kid's life will look like. I think it's even just this reality check of will we ever be empty nester? And it my kids are 4. So it's like we have so much time, but you think about those things because people talk about it. I think even just friendships, I think that's the thing that makes me the most emotional is just like I want my kids to have meaningful friendship because I see like the beauty they bring to my life and to others, and I just hope that other people see that as they get older. I think the idea of like kids being mean to them, like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh,
My
I'll think of
daughter,
so much.
I think my daughter's gonna be pretty tall, at least.
Yeah, so she'll stand up for them.
That's right. That's what I think. Honestly, genuinely, I'm so thankful for our friend group and knowing that Drew is going to have
Yeah.
Johnny, Sam, and Malachi, and Raina, and Remy,
And Lily, yeah.
and Lily, and even Davy and Bryce. Like she gets to grow up with a gang, and so
Yeah.
do your kids. Gang. They'll go.
Yeah.
So
So I do like it is overwhelming, and it is kind of like it kind of depends on my day too.
Yeah.
Like I have days where I'm like, this is really hard.
yeah,
Like really hard. And I'm like not okay. Like I'm like crying a lot. I'm just like, how am I gonna do this forever? And I think I have such an amazing support group of even just like I have like I think of 2 really good friends from like my high school years or my childhood friends. Like they support me so well. Like one's a PA, and so she helps me a lot with medical questions. One of them's getting her doctorate in speech pathology, and so she helps me with their R's and their IEPs. And I just are friends, and I think of my family. Like I have to like really hone in on that, or even just I have an amazing boss and business partners. Like we just are so like I have to like keep my mindset on that of like it's gonna be okay. My sister lives in Austin, and she is the best aunt ever to them. Like I know, I mean, also if something does happen to me, Michael, they're going to Christine.
That's right. I was also going to ask about New York and what that meant. And
Yes.
I was
I
curious.
would
I've seen the
love to talk about
videos and pictures and all that, but tell me about how you get nominated,
Okay, yeah.
why you go, and I have no clue really. But
Okay, so basically the National Down Syndrome Society does this every year. They pick 500 people with Down syndrome from all over the nation. I actually think they had 3 people from different countries this year. To be on the Times Square slideshow. And then they also do like the New York Buddy Walk. And so October is Down Syndrome Awareness Month. And so like Central Texas Down Syndrome Association of Central Texas does their buddy walk in October because that's Down Syndrome Awareness Month. Okay, so you submit a picture of your family member or friend with Down syndrome. They had 2,500 people submit their pictures, and they picked 500.
Whoa.
I had heard of it because my friend who I worked at Big with has a sister with Down syndrome, and she was selected last year, and he like posted about it. And so I like texted him and was like, wait, what is this? And he was like, next year we're going to he's also a photographer. So he was like, I'll take pictures of Sam and we can submit her for this. And so got pictures done for her. The cutest pictures ever.
Can't even, yeah.
You put a camera in front of the girl, and
she works it.
Like, she literally grabbed Elmo and was like posing with him. She grabbed a cowgirl hat and was like tipping her hat and kisses to my friend. I was like, okay.
She's on the podcast next. She would love this.
Yeah, no, she would love this. And so submitted the pictures, found out in July, like we got selected. Also our friend Katie and her brother and her son Malachi all got they got selected too. And so I was really hesitant. I was like, Michael and I have never really traveled with our kids like that. One, because of their health, but 2, because I mean, I think any parent can say traveling to New York City with 2 toddlers sounds really scary and maybe nobody would do it.
Yeah.
But add in like 2 kids with disabilities and people were like, are you sure that's a good idea? Yeah. Like people were like, are you sure? And then also Johnny's health, like, okay, it's like literally the dirtiest place ever.
Yeah.
Like there was a few moments I gagged. So I was like, oh my God, it's so bad. But I don't know. Michael and I talked about it a lot, and we're like, I've always wanted to go to New York. We were so pumped about Sam being on Times Square. I just like the idea of being in a space where with so many people with Down syndrome. I couldn't stop smiling just thinking about it. And so we were like, let's do it. We're going to do it. And we did it. It was the best thing ever. I feel so proud of us and just doing something hard. It wasn't easy. People were like always like, oh, Rachel's itinerary, like I made a plan. I like made sure it was organized. I did research about like best strollers. And it wasn't because I don't really actually care. Like once we got there, I was like super chill, but it was just, I wanted to set the kids up for success. That's like what I kept saying. Like, I want them to be set up for success. And I know that it's going to take a lot of thought. And like, I don't want to take Johnny specifically and also Sam to anywhere that is extremely like kid and germy. So we like didn't do like museums, or honestly we didn't do the majority of the classic New York things. And I think that was also hard when we were like, let's do it. Michael and I were like, we both have to understand that this is not going to be the New York trip we would plan for ourselves. So we had to set our expectations correct. We're like, we're going to be flexible. We're going to work as a team. We're going to like bring Johnny's headphones. We're going to have to like think about, okay, if Johnny gets sick, what are we going to do? Like just put into place like a lot of things. So yeah, it was definitely hard. There was moments where I was like, oof, this is tough. The flight home was brutal, but overall, I just felt really proud of my kids. I felt really proud to be Johnny and Sam's mom. I also just felt really proud that like I get to do this with Michael, because we just are really good at working as a team in those situations. And then I was just really proud to be a mom of a child with Down syndrome. Like it was just a really joyful day. They had 2,000 people there. The majority of them had Down syndrome. I got to meet Kevin, who was the actor from the movie Champion.
Oh yeah. Okay. I was like, what's Champions now? I remember.
Yeah. I got to meet the two podcasters who have a podcast. They both have Down syndrome. It's Audrey and Jeremy, I think. Hopefully I said that right. Just really cool people who are making a difference in the Down syndrome community. It was just so cool. Was Johnny fixated on Clifford the whole time?
Right.
Yes.
Clifford's there. So
Yes,
yeah.
he was. Did he have a hard time about it?
Spider-Man was there
Of
too.
course, Spider-Man was there.
Batman.
Like, was it like, were we drenched in sweat?
Yeah.
Like, yes. But it was just such an honor to be there and to be surrounded by. I think one of my favorite things too about having kids with disabilities is meeting other parents who have kids with disabilities, especially within the Down syndrome community. It's like you look at each other and you're like, we're connected.
I'm usually not the type of person to like look at a picture and read into it and like get emotional about it. But when I got the picture, which usually means like Callie got it, Katie got it, or Anna got it, or Pinterest moms got it, and then I got it somehow, right?
Okay.
But I see the picture the day of. It's you and Michael, and you're holding Sam, I think. And Sam's turned around, looked at her own picture, and you guys are smiling for the camera. And I just thought it was so beautiful because Sam is just like so proud and relishing in the moment and loving to see herself. And like, that's so cool. But then it's like, you guys are so happy to be there. I can see it in the picture and be like,
No, we were so happy.
it just looked, it's like, it was just such a sweet picture. It made me emotional the day I got it. And I just can't imagine being there. And
I think that it was just also just this deeper thing of like, we did it and like, we're here and we're like, that's our daughter and we've come so far. Like she came to us at 19 months old, 20 months old. She's now just officially been with us longer than she wasn't. Like it's just like I just feel like something about it felt very like bigger than just this trip.
Totally.
I think it was just really emotional for me and Michael. We like cried in Hamilton and we're like, I think the whole trip I kept saying it kind of felt like my wedding weekend again. Like it just was really a special weekend. Like it felt like we were a family. And I think that just felt like such a blessing. And I was just really thankful.
I'm going to go through the questions that I normally ask everybody.
Perfect.
Unless you think that there's something that I didn't ask so far that you feel like would be important to talk about or helpful for Drew to listen to in the future or for our friends to hear. Actually, I remembered one, but do you have anything when I said that?
I think something that I was thinking about was just what I learned through being a foster parent specifically. And I know that you've interviewed a lot of people who are foster parents, so I don't want to just like say the same thing, but I think one thing that I was like, I wish I had known these things becoming a mom was um, the willingness to accept other people's generosity is huge. And then I think I always joke that like foster care made me type B. I would say I thought I was a type A person, but I don't think I am anymore. I don't know if that's possible to be broken of that, but like the flexibility of it. But the generosity piece is huge. I think a lot of moms really struggle with like people offering help. And I've just had the most random people be so generous towards our foster care journey. And I always just want new foster parents or even just new moms to know that like when people offer something, like you can say yes and not feel bad and take them up on it. Like that's how they feel loved and cared. And even being someone who's offered my help, like I love when people are like, yes, I would like that. And so even to Drew, being a woman, I feel like sometimes feel like we have to have it all together and we can do it all. And it's extremely humbling to realize you can't, you know, and then, but you have so many people who want to help. So take it, you know, and it took a long time for us to get there.
Yeah, it does take a village, and it's hard to be, I know, at least with Anna and I, it's hard to have the open hands because in some ways you have to first admit that it is incredibly hard.
Yes.
And that is a hard thing to do, you know?
Especially like I always knew I wanted to be a mom to kids with disabilities. And then I did it and I was really struggling.
Yep.
It was really hard. And I was like, do I like this? Like, did I make a mistake? Like, you know, and I say that because I know that some people feel that way. And it's like, it is the best thing I've ever done my whole life because I'm obsessed with my kids. But it took a long time to get there. Like, I feel like, I mean, I've been a mom for 4 years now. So 2 years ago, I would probably sit here and have a completely different conversation. So
Mhm.
it's been really cool to look back and be like, I'm always changing. And even this podcast, I was reminded of like, in 2 years, I might listen to this conversation and feel totally different because
Mhm.
things are always changing. But yeah, I think just being willing to be like, this is really hard and I need help.
Yeah.
And really taking people up on where they're willing to help is huge.
There were 2 questions that I
Yeah.
did wanna ask. The first one is, earlier you mentioned about you didn't know the type of benefits that you would receive as a
Yeah.
foster parent, especially for a kid with disabilities and special needs. If someone's listening right now
Mm.
and they're thinking, I want to be a foster parent or I want to be a parent to a kid with special needs and disability, what are those benefits? Like, how was it able to happen? Like,
Mhm.
I don't need you to financially give me all the math, but
Yes.
like maybe explaining that so that
Yeah.
they feel the bravery to do that and know that they can, just like you learned.
Yeah. So, if you're a foster parent in general, you get paid a daily stipend for the kids. But when you are fostering a kid with primary medical needs, you get paid more. And so we were given a good amount between the two kids that we could use towards our children. What's been a huge blessing is that we didn't use all of it. So we were able to save a good amount
Mm.
so that when we adopted them, we could use it for things like the will, like
Mm.
just certain things, schools, like whatever. And then another thing is Medicaid. You get Medicaid when you foster. But if you adopt a child with a disability in Texas, no matter the age, no matter their race, because there's different standards for kids who don't have disability. But if they have a disability, then they automatically get to keep their Medicaid until they're 18. It's one of the things for my kids, because they had G tubes for a while, they also had nursing care.
Mm.
That would help them because certain schools couldn't take them without a nurse because someone had to do their G-tube care. So for a long time, both my kids had nurses. There's probably others that I can't even think about right this second. A lot of like we got like all of their like formula, like everything through their DME. Like I actually don't even know what that stands for. Medical supply.
Me either, but
Yeah, it's called a DME.
yeah,
But
we had it for our kid too.
yeah, so we got like all their medical supplies through their insurance, which included their formula. I mean, there's just like all the other like foster care benefits. But then when you adopt them, yeah, you get a monthly stipend per kid, and then you get the Medicaid till they're 18. And I think those two things really helped us to feel like we could care for them.
Mhm.
We would have said yes if we did not get those things, but it helped us feel confident that we could care for these children well,
Mhm.
especially in the Medicaid when it came to how often Johnny and even Sam has been in the hospital twice, but it's like we didn't know, like, would we be going to like millions of dollars of medical debt, you know? So that was really reassuring of like, okay, we can do this and we can care for them well.
And one beautiful thing about foster care that I experienced with our foster kid is like, yes, let's go get him every single specialist
Yeah.
that he needs. Like that's like because it's no cost to you
Yeah.
and it's being taken care of by Medicaid. So he had a helmet fitting. He had
Yeah.
like so many gastro experts going. Like he had the best care, and
Yeah.
so I think that was another cool thing too. It's like there's no fear with that, and for foster kids, they get their college paid for at
Yes.
public universities, which
Correct.
is another big one. But I wanted to just say all that in case someone's thinking, like you might have been thinking at the time, like, oh my gosh, how do we? Like when you
Yeah.
went to Katie and said we can't afford it or whatever you said.
No, it's so true.
Yeah.
We're like, we're willing, but like we don't have money. So
Yeah.
what do we do?
Yeah. Have you seen the show Down for Love?
I've watched Love on the Spectrum, but I haven't watched Down for Love. But I
Okay.
think I would love it.
It's great. You should watch Down for Love. I watched it. It's good.
Yeah.
Actually, Callie showed me it. Fun
Oh,
fact.
really?
Yeah, she's if Drew listens to this in 15 years, let's just say Drew, Johnny, and Sam, they listen to this 15 years from now. What do you hope they hear from your story?
Um, I mean, I would hope that my kids would hear how much it's so cheesy. It's like how much I love them and how much I have been willing and will always be willing to sacrifice for them because like they are the best part of my life. I hope they also hear just like they have the best dad ever
Mhm.
through just like the stories I was telling. I hope that Drew would feel an encouragement of like being someone who will um, always be inclusive and
Mm.
always want to make sure that other people feel included and loved and seen no matter who they are or what differences they have. And I hope my kids do that too. But I feel like Drew being a typical child, like being someone who can look at Johnny and Sam and say, like I have these friends who are different than me and they add so much to my life. So I'm going to do that beyond just my friend group. People are like, oh, that's a big, but it just starts with small steps. And ultimately it's like just saying hi, like that's a huge thing. Like people will, even I was at a park the other day and there was an older woman with a disability and everyone was like kind of avoiding her. And I was just like, hey, just saying hi is enough. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's very sweet. I know that your kids will be so loved. I think I love the idea of all the kids growing up together.
Mhm.
I just think I wish I had that.
Like I feel like it came to me so much later in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, it's so cool that all these kids and like my nieces and nephews get
Mm.
to grow up with this.
Yeah.
It makes me so happy for them.
Me too. So for dads raising daughters, I am a dad raising a daughter. What did your dad do well or horribly? Just kidding. Let's go with well that I should steal from him that really impacted you
Yeah.
as a daughter.
I feel like I keep saying this word generosity and it feels lame, but my dad has always, and I think me and all my siblings can agree, has always been a very generous man, especially with his time. And I feel like a lot of people have said this about their dads, but like he never missed anything. He always showed up. He worked really hard to provide for our family. But that never was like his top priority. It was
Mm.
always like being there for us. I mean, he had 5 kids and he was like the coach of all of the soccer teams, all of the basketball teams. He also has just always been very like even financially generous of just like, I don't know, just very willing to be like, hey, like I want to help with this or
Mm.
whatever. And I really appreciate that. And I think I've never like my parents taught me um like to make my own money and like I like had a job like from when I was 15. Like it was never like you get whatever, but it was very much like still as an adult, like I still think there's moments where he can be like, hey, I want to help you all in this way. And I feel really thankful for that.
What should I steal from Michael as a dad?
To be fun.
Yeah,
He's so fun.
He is so fun.
And I think just like being silly and he's just so good with playing with the kids and being silly and he makes them laugh and um he's just really fun. Like I feel like
Yes.
we always have a blast.
He's great on the dance floor too.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. We love that about him. What does the word ladylike mean to you? And how would you redefine that?
Yeah, I feel like I've heard a lot of people say like gentleness mixed with like confidence or courage or boldness. I think something that maybe to maybe give something different was just being fully who you are made to be
Mm.
and whatever that is, like whatever your giftings are, like just leaning into that. And I think being ladylike is recognizing like these are my strengths, these are my weaknesses, and I'm going to lean into those. I'm going to call them out in other people too, especially other women. Like, hey, I see these giftings in you and I want to encourage you in these because I think the most ladylike and most amazing women to be around are other women who uplift other women and help bring out those giftings in each other.
Totally. And that's actually was going to be my next question or my next prompt.
Yeah.
I was going to say, who are the women in your life that have influenced you? And
Mhm.
maybe you want to shout out for being ladylike.
Yeah.
Don't worry if you forget.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably say something. I love you all. Oh my gosh. Okay. I feel like I'm gonna go with my mom and my sisters. So I kind of might have brought this up earlier, but I have 3 sisters and a brother. And then my brother married an amazing woman, Mallory. And so it's my sister Julianne, my sister Leah, me, and then my younger sister Christine, and then my youngest brother, Joey, married Mallory. And then my mom. And so I just feel like my mom and my sisters were so influential of my life. I feel so thankful that my sisters are my best friends. They always have been and always will. Like me and my sister Christine shared a room for 18 years. We are complete opposites, but get along so well. And I think the biggest thing that my mom taught me was just how to stand up for like things that are unfair. Like she taught me a lot about like justice. My mom's a lawyer.
I didn't know that. Oh.
Yeah. And so she really is someone who she's an advocate. Like she will call out what is not okay. And I really, really learned a lot from that about boldness, about having hard conversations. And then my sister, again, there's 4 of us. And I feel like we are all so different, but love and respect each other so much. You can anything like politics, things we're interested in. We all have different thoughts and views, but we love each other so deeply. And I think they influenced me on how to be a really good friend because I had really good sisters that were really good friends to me. And then also how to work really well with other women, because you have like the dynamic of three sisters. That's a lot. I think they are the most influential women in my life. And then, of course, all the moms in our life now. And then my my high school friends too.
Yeah.
Like all just like very influential of who I am.
What would the younger version of yourself think of who you are now? Maybe a teenage version of yourself.
Teenage version of me would not be surprised
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
Like literally at all. I think that I would be surprised by how hard it is, because I think that's been the most surprising part to me, which sounds so silly, but I don't think I would be surprised.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'd probably be happy.
Okay, so this next section here is just going to be some quick fire questions to kind of get us on the end. What's a lesson that Peru gave you that still shows up today?
I think that Peru taught me to be content in the slow moments. Like I would just be like playing with the kids in this big field by myself, and we'd just be like kicking a ball. And I think when I first got there, I was like, how am I going to do this for 7 months?
Yeah.
You know, like when you do something that's so like not boring, but kind of, but you're like, oh, this is so simple. I think that it really taught me to find like joy, or just even how to make even the simple or small things fun.
Yeah.
And I like when I spend a lot of time with my kids, there's moments where you're like, what do I do? I'm bored, you know, or this is it. This is gonna be the day. This is my life. And it's really taught me to be like, slow down.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're gonna enjoy the moment.
Did you ever go to Machu Picchu while you were there?
Yeah.
Dang, that's a lot.
My whole family came
No
for
way.
Christmas that year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so
That's
we
a
spent
dream.
Christmas serving with the ministry, and then we all went to Machu Picchu. And it
Dang.
was so fun.
Did you try the
Michael came too.
Did he really?
Mhm, we were dating. It was the first
Wow.
trip that a boyfriend ever went on.
Oh my
My
gosh.
parents were really strict about
Locked
that.
it down.
Yeah.
I mean, you knew.
He told me he
He
loved
proposed
me.
there.
No,
Oh no.
he told-
I was kidding.
No, he told me he loved me on top of Machu
Oh my
Picchu. I keep
gosh.
saying it wrong, but he told,
Machu Pikachu. Just kidding.
we were on top, and he was like, I love you. And I was like, I love you. I was so awkward about it.
Yeah.
And it was so embarrassing.
Next one. Pizza slice or taco? Which would you rather have?
Pizza.
Oh.
I have a tattoo of a pizza.
That's Marvel movie or Marvel series? Which one do you like more?
Series.
Ooh.
Like a show, yeah.
Which show?
I love like all of the Defender Netflix series.
Oh yeah. Cage. And,
Yes, I
yeah.
love all them.
Those
Jessica
are-
Jones.
Yeah.
I actually really love this, kind of a side note, but they're intertwined. I really like The Punisher,
Okay.
which is very off-brand.
Wow, that's really yeah. I love the
I
Punisher.
just want to even say, do not recommend
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
really like
Violent.
dark and gory and violent, but I just feel really emotionally invested in his story.
Yeah, super into the Punisher. Just with
Yeah.
just, but,
So
wow.
yeah.
That's crazy. Well, that wraps it up. So what we'll do now is whatever you want to plug, you can plug. But I was thinking it'd be cool to plug Pinks and maybe some of the organizations that you care about and work with.
I guess shout out / plug towards certain things I've been involved in would be Pink's Window Service, Cedar Park, Georgetown. That is the business that my husband and I are part of. Love Lily Flowers is where I work. And then Big, which is Brooklyn and Georgetown, is a community for adults with disabilities. I think that's the main thing. My Instagram is Rachel Loves Cats McCoy.
No, that's it.
I will not explain why, but that's it.
That's incredible. Shout out to cats. I'm just kidding. All right. Thank you again for watching or listening to Ladylike. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at ladylike_pod. You can find us on YouTube at Ladylike the Girl Dad Podcast. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe on YouTube, give us a good rating on wherever you're listening to podcasts. The merch store dropped. You can buy one of these hats online if you want that or not. Thank you guys again for listening, and thank you, Rachel, for coming on. We'll see you on the next one. Hey, y'all. Thank you again for listening to Ladylike the Girl Dad Podcast. I'm going to give you a couple of my dad reflections that I'm taking away from my conversation with Rachel McCoy. The first one is inclusion is taught and not assumed. I want to make sure that we all reflect on what Rachel said, that it means a lot to her when people ask questions, when people invite her kids in. And
I want to make sure to lead that with my life. And so I'm going to invite those on the outside in and be more inclusive in everyday life. The second thing is asking for and accepting help. Rachel and I both talked about how when we were starting foster care, we were afraid to take on help because both of us felt a little bit like, well, I took this on and this is my responsibility and I don't need to put my burdens on you. But the help that we both received changed our lives. And so definitely want to continue to emulate that throughout the rest of my life. The third thing is preparing for the long game. Rachel talked about what it might look like when Johnny and Sam get older. And she talked about the long term picture of building a community that could help support her kids and it taking a village. And so I also want to reflect that in this podcast and in my life. I want to continue to pour into the friendships around me to build a village around Drew so that she has that someday. And the fourth thing is celebrating tiny wins. Rachel was loving talking about Johnny and Sam learning how to sign, learning how to communicate, and the stories they love to share. And I want to be more joyous in the small victories in my life, whether that's personal or interpersonal. I want to, just celebrate and be reflective of those great things happening. Again, thank you so much for listening to Ladylike. Make sure to give us a good review wherever you listen to podcasts. Go ahead and like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at ladylike_pod. And go on the website and become a guest on the show. I definitely want to hear your story, and I know you have something valuable to say. As always, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.